The thing I love about New Year's is how it affords everybody a chance to start fresh. Usually that's just a thing you say while vowing to exercise more and drink less, but sometimes the old adage rings true. I went into 2019 hoping that this would be the year when Sometimes You would end their losing streak and finally release a game worth playing. I'm not sure I'd label their first game of the new year a must-buy, but science fiction adventure game Planet Rix 13 is about as close as the publisher has come to giving us a genuinely good game. Maybe this is the sign that 2019 won't be the nightmare hellhole we've been dreading this whole time. You take control of a space explorer who is part of a team looking for a suitable planet for life. Unfortunately, we pick up the story after the mission has failed and all but one member of the team has been killed. It's now your job to continue the research, remain living, and then get off the planet in one piece. It's a tense and terrifying situation to be in, but don't worry, Planet Rix 13 will only take you about 30 or 60 minutes to beat, so it's not quite as epic as it sounds. This is a fairly straightforward 2D side-scroller where the emphasis is on picking up items and using them to solve puzzles. It's sort of like Maniac Mansion, only nowhere near as intricate or good. You'll start out seeking medical help, but this quickly transitions into getting the servers back online, 3D printing useful items, opening up a bunch of safes, and eventually tracking down 4 space rocks. Along the way, you'll run into a few basic puzzles and emails that help fill in the story. As an adventure game, Planet Rix 13 isn't especially deep. Every item you interact with will eventually be used for something, so most of the job is just walking around looking for objects that light up. The locations are all incredibly small, as you're usually investigating tiny interiors and single-screen crash sites. The good news is that the game is easy to control, and I like how quickly you bounce from one part of the planet to another. I also think the throwback 8-bit graphics look good. They aren't flashy and won't win any awards for detail, but they're all clean, and the dozen or so locations all look a little different. First-time developer Nine Eyes Game Studio should be proud of what they've accomplished here, especially when it comes to some of the trippy moments connected to the planet's mystery. I also like that the ambient sounds of the planet do the talking, since pretty much any music would have hurt the experience. Now, there's an argument to be made that I'm grading this game on a curve, and more impressed that it's not a complete failure like a lot of the games from Sometimes You. There's some truth to that, but I would counter that this is a good game on its own. It's not groundbreaking and won't blow you over with its originality, but it's executed well and doesn't bite off more than it can chew. It's also cheap, making the short runtime a little easier to swallow. The fact that it's not a complete dumpster fire like North and Skytime is a nice bonus, but I think that Planet Rix 13 holds its own as a solid debut release from a new studio. That said, there are a few things that I hope the developer will take with them when making their next game. Personally, I don't mind the short length and limited scope, but it would have been nice to have a more compelling story. This extends beyond the email narrative and into the visual storytelling, especially when it comes to the ending. Outside of a few trippy moments, there isn't a whole lot about the story that's going to stick with me, and the multiple endings are also anticlimactic. It would have been nice to see more work go into the creative deaths and some sort of closing cinema. It just feels like something's missing. As both an adventure game and a debut release from Nine Eyes Game Studio, Planet Rix 13 is a solid effort. It's not especially original, the story isn't as compelling as it could be, and it'll take you no longer than an hour to complete, but it has a clean look, good gameplay, multiple endings, and a few genuinely trippy moments. It's also a marked improvement over every other Sometimes You game I've reviewed. Here's hoping the Planet Rix 13 is a turning point for the much maligned company. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What is something you want to see happen in 2019? This can be anything, but maybe keep it somewhat game related. I mean, obviously it would be nice if we all won $1 million or something. I can't wait to see what you have to say in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a bunch of reviews, as well as a host of new shows for the new year. I think you're gonna like Defunct Games in 2019, so I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.